everybody, and welcome to Final Play Sports Wrap. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're talking Mountain West basketball. The Mountain West basketball tournament finished up this weekend, and I'm wearing my green in honor of both St. Patty's Day and Colorado State's victory over Boise State in the final. They punched their ticket into the NCAA by winning the Mountain West tournament. And Nick Clifford was simply outstanding. Nick Clifford finished the game with 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. The Rams beat Utah State in the semifinals with Clifford having 26, 11, and 6 to earn Most Valuable Player for the Mountain West tournament. Boise had beaten New Mexico on Friday afternoon, 72-69, in a close battle between the two teams. Meadows, my favorite Boise player, scored 5 points in the last 45 seconds as Boise took a 4-point lead and held on for the win. Unfortunately, the win was not enough for Boise to punch a ticket to the NCAAs. They were one of the first teams left out, and we'll cover more of that in a bit. But 4 teams from the Mountain West did make the tournament. New Mexico is a 10 seed, Utah State is a 10 seed, CSU got a 12 seed, and San Diego State is an 11 seed, but in a play-in game with North Carolina. So very interesting seeding for the Mountain West. 4 teams in, probably more than expected. However, the seedings were predictably low for the Mountain West. They seem to have hit a ceiling in terms of where they can get seeded. So let me cover just a couple of the games, or all the games here. New Mexico will play Marquette Friday evening in Cleveland. Marquette is favored by 3.5 points. They're led by Cam Jones, 19.3 points, 4 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. They're a low turnover team, a high steal team, so the Lobos will have to take care of the ball to win. They shoot 32% for the three-point line. The question they have is, do they have anyone who can stop Nelly? And will any of the other Lobos show up? While 4 Lobos scored in double figures against Boise State for the Lobos, the bench contributed 4 points and 6 rebounds in 28 minutes of playing time. So not ideal contribution from the bench. New Mexico this season was 25th in scoring offense with 81 points per game, while Marquette was 95th at 76 points a game. And defensively, UNM was 131st defensive scoring at 7, giving up 70.8 points per game, while Marquette was 71st, giving up 68.5 points a game. These look like carbon copy teams to me. Both of them play fast. Both of them have an outstanding point guard who can just about do anything. Cam Jones, really good player, can get inside, create, dish, can hit a three-pointer. Looks a lot like Donovan Dent, and it's going to be very interesting to see which one wins this game. We'll see. If New Mexico plays like they're capable of, I think New Mexico wins. If New Mexico comes out and falters or doesn't shoot well, which they've been known to do, then I think Marquette will win. So a very interesting game coming up Friday evening for the Lobos. Thursday night, Utah State will play UCLA. UCLA was 6th in the Big Ten at 22-10 overall. They're led by 6.9 junior Tyler Bilodeau, who averages 13.6 per game. They have a relatively deep bench. The other night, they got 40 points of their 70 from the bench in their loss to Wisconsin in the Big Ten quarterfinal. They've played a couple, I think one common opponent. UCLA lost to New Mexico 72-64 early in the season in a game that New Mexico dominated the entire game. But I can tell you back then, New Mexico was dominating everyone, including Utah State. So it'll be very interesting to see who prevails in this one. UCLA is 145th in scoring offense and 74.5 points per game. Utah scores 80.9 points a game. They're 30th in the nation. But UCLA is 27th in scoring defense at 65.7. And Utah State is 117th with 70 points given up per game. My feeling on this is if Falslev and Martinez are on their game and hit their threes, it could be a very long night for the Bruins. I think they match up fairly well. And I just think Utah State's a very good quality team and could likely win this game. CSU plays Memphis, the winners of the American Conference. Memphis is 29-5. They had a very nice season. And they had some really nice early wins out of conference. They beat Missouri, they beat UNLV, they beat UConn, they beat Michigan State, they beat Clemson. And then they rolled through a relatively weak American Athletic Conference. So one of the questions that I would have about Memphis right now is, have they progressed since early in the season? Well, they're obviously very good, but now they're beating less than the best opponents. And does that get them prepared for the NCAA tournament? I guess we'll see. Memphis is led by guard P.J. Haggerty, averages 21.8 points a game. They averaged 80.1 per game. The team shoots three-pointers at a 38.0 clip. So 38%, really good. And they run a three-guard offense. They don't have a lot of size, but CSU's not all that big either. So, and from a scoring defense, they're not so good. 217th at 73.2 points per game. CSU is 45th in scoring defense at 67.1 and 137th at 75.2. Could be another really tight game. CSU is coming on a 10 straight winning game in conference. A fantastic effort from them. Nico Medved is a hot property. We'll talk about that in a bit. But really interesting game. And then tomorrow night, Tuesday night, San Diego State will be playing North Carolina. These are play-in seeds for the, as part of the first four on Tuesday, with the winner to play Ole Miss in the South. Magoon Gwath, who's the MWC freshman and Defensive Player of the Year, has been out since late February. He's nearing a return, as I understand it, and according to his coach, he is available for tomorrow's game. This will greatly help the Aztecs in their bid to upset the Tar Heels. The Tar Heels finished fourth in the ACC, but were just 1-11 against Quad 1 teams. Their best win was against UCLA early in the non-conference season. Carolina is 31st in scoring offense at 80.8 points per game and 265th in scoring defense at 75 points per game. San Diego State is 30th in scoring defense at 63.6 and 275th in scoring offense at 70.8. So, kind of teams in similar situations, neither one all that great. Certainly San Diego State is would get a big boost by having McGoth back, or Magoon Gwath back. And I'm a little surprised that San Diego State made the tournament over Boise, as Boise beat them last week in the quarterfinals of the MWC. And, you know, and Boise also beat New Mexico in the quarterfinals, in the semifinals. So they had a couple of good wins down the stretch. And while I'm surprised that San Diego State made the tournament over Boise, I'm flabbergasted that UNC made the tournament over Boise. And apparently the name on the jersey meant more than the record. Boise was 3-6 in Quad 1 games, 5-2 in Quad 2 games, made a run through the finals of the Mountain West tournament, and got to the finals, lost to Colorado State. But Boise beat Clemson, St. Mary's, New Mexico twice, San Diego State, and Utah State. So they beat all the teams. They beat 6 teams that are in the NCAA tournament. North Carolina beat one team, UCLA, that's in the NCAA tournament. So committee did the ACC a favor, and that's it. So I'm going to go with some predictions here. Number one, I'm going to take New Mexico Lobos over Marquette in a tight one. They're 3.5-point dogs. I think they win by 2. I think Utah State is going to upset UCLA. I think they're going to win by 8. I just think they're the better team. I'm going to pick Memphis to beat CSU in a really close game. I wouldn't be surprised if CSU wins, but Memphis has a record against really good teams of beating them. And if that's the case, then Memphis is going to win. And the last one is a toss-up for me. If Guath can play, I'm going to take San Diego State. If he can't play, I think I'll take UNC. So that's it for the NCAA tournament update from a coaching news standpoint. Richard Pitino of New Mexico and Nico Medved of CSU are both hot coaching properties. Allegedly, Villanova is quite interested in Pitino, and Minnesota is already rumored to have settled on Medved. So we might see next week or the week after some coaching changes in the Mountain West, and we'll have to stay tuned to see how that goes. We'll update this as the Mountain West teams advance, and hopefully we'll get a couple teams advancing this year. We haven't always been good about that in the Mountain West, but we did have a good run with San Diego State a few years ago. So anyhow, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this broadcast, please subscribe to my YouTube page. It costs you nothing. If you'd like to reach out to me, perhaps you'd like to sponsor a segment, you can do that by reaching out to me at the information that follows this video. Thanks, and have a great day, everyone. Take care.